Hi, my name is Sara Lourenco, and I've worked with Vamos now since 2006. Shock horror, can't believe it. I've had various titles, I guess, over the years throughout that journey. Most recently was the creative director for Vamos Festival. I came in with my partner at the time, my work partner, Coco Vega. We had a business called Latino Events. And we used to do literally, as it says on the tin, Latino events all over the Northeast. And we came in with Nick and Vamos to do a few bits and pieces regarding kind of salsa. And then each year, I guess, it progressed. We ended up doing a few more events, and I ended up adding things like Zumba, Latino Zumba, which went down really well. And then we progressed on, and one year I got us to help out with the Mardi Gras at the last minute, very last minute. And then that kind of stuck. And then that became one of my main babies, I guess, within Vamos, was organising the community Mardi Gras. So within the Mardi Gras project, which was huge, I ended up working with all of the Usman Trust schools, their primary schools, bringing in amazing, some of our amazing facilitators, I guess, who come from all over the world and who are still, to this day, very much part of the Vamos project. And we would deliver workshops and all sorts of things. We also took some of our resident artists. So what I didn't mention before is that my dad is Portuguese and my mum is English, from Newcastle herself. And when we were very young, I was lucky enough to have lived in Portugal and go to school in Portugal. And my grandparents were there, and family and extended kind of friends and what have you. And it was very much part of who I am today. And I struggled, I think, when we moved back to England to find a place in the Northeast that felt like home to me always, especially as a young person. I always felt like I didn't quite fit in. I also saw this kind of starting in my children's life as well, because their dad is Italian. And it was funny because one day I was just kind of about to give up on socialising. I'd literally got to the end of my tether and my friends trying to drag me out, go, no, this place is great. And we ended up, it was the last resort, one night going to the cooperage on the quayside. I was like, listen, this is it. This is the last chance. Otherwise, I'm going to just be a recluse for the rest of my life, you know. So anyway, we walk into the cooperage. It was like a really hot, sweaty night in Cuba. It was absolutely amazing. And at that time, there were far more, I think, Latinos, certainly going out. You know, you see them more out and about in those days, but it was packed, and it was packed morning, noon, and night. And I just thought, I've come home. I found my people. I suppose through Vamos as a vehicle, it's enabled me to take that back out into the community to reach young people and children who are from different backgrounds and who are based in the Northeast but have never lived or visited or know much about their own cultures. So through Vamos, it's enabled us to kind of do that. It's been incredible, really. I suppose through Vamos, I was enabled to kind of do things like Pika Pika, which was our street food project with Nick, and I worked with some students at Newcastle College. We brought a kind of twice, I think we did it. We brought a resident, amazing chef who did a session with them, and then I did menu planning with them. We talked about the origins of the food, where it came from. You know, it was a really interesting project for them. We did a couple of huge events at the boiler shop, I should say. We did about 1,200. I think it was about 1,200 people that day. Day of the Dead as well, lots of the Day of the Dead events. And then also, I suppose, music has always been something that has been, you know, a continual thing through my entire life and has always been important. I grew up, like I say, in Portugal, listening to lots of different types of music, from anything from fado, you know, to you know, current stuff. So Vamos has also given me an opportunity, I guess, to experience new talent that that have come from incredible places from all over the world, who've gone on to be huge, but also to build on what we had here with the amazing talent that we had here, like the Burundanga project, for example, which was started by Alex Alfaro, who obviously is a main regular character for Vamos as well, and that was a Latino band. We also did the Geordie Latinos. I don't know if anyone heard about the Geordie Latinos. So that was my baby as well. Mardi Gras. That was an interesting project. I suppose it still is an interesting project. It's a beast of a project. It went from, like I say, about 25 people the first year, and a couple of years ago we had about 650 in the parade. So it's become really huge. It's so much fun. The fun part is the concept part. So Nick always tells me kind of what the theme is of that particular year. And then I go away with the kind of creative team, being myself, Hannah Biel and Jalise, who are the kind of music directors, Yvel, who's the dance. The schools have really benefited, I think. They've really enjoyed and really embraced it, if I'm honest. Class teachers have done full weeks with the children stuff on, I don't know, we did Frida Kahlo, for example. They knew nothing about Frida Kahlo, so they really embraced the whole theme of Mexico and decorated the whole schools. They had school dinners where, for all the food was come from Mexico, and they were asking questions. It was fantastic. So when it came to the actual day of the Mardi Gras, they were all so excited, and they've been part of this kind of, I suppose, thrilling project for about, the lead is usually about 6 months, really. So, the fun things are always kind of the dress rehearsals, because you never know, you have, suddenly you've got, a few hundred people in the room who've not seen each other. So yeah, we'd do these amazing workshops, and the great thing about that as well is that everyone had an opportunity to input. The costume that we'd have a group of, I don't know, young street dancers who were like, well, actually, could we add this to our costume, or why don't the troupe have this? So it really was a community project, and everyone had amazing ideas, and I think really felt like they had an ownership of something that belonged to them, and it was also a vehicle for them to share, I guess, part of their cultural history and background. So it was quite a significant, and for me, it's certainly one of my favourite events during the Vamos Festival. I work quite a lot in the East End of Newcastle, and it always blows me away how kind of, I suppose, old school, community orientated they are and have been for a really long time. And people don't understand that often, and that's a very British community that I'm kind of talking about. But they're very proud of their culture and heritage, but also equally, I think, are ready to learn about who their neighbours are and where they come from. And something like the Mardi Gras is a perfect opportunity to kind of to introduce that, because as far as I'm concerned, music is just, crosses all the boundaries and breaks down all barriers, and everyone just gets stuck in.